Hey guys, welcome to Adulting with Alumirar, your ultimate guide to navigating life one story at a time. From chic fashion to thriving at work, staying fit, and keeping it real in relationships, we've got it all. Let's laugh, learn, and live our best millennial lives together. Hit that subscribe button and let's dive into the chaos of adulthood with a whole lot of style and a dash of fun.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to be doing a quick recap on my CAREERVERSARY. If you don't know what that means, it's been simply 10 years since I became a teacher, and I think I want to just share what I've learned and what I have loved about this job. Quick story. Growing up, I did not want to be a teacher. That was not one of the things I wanted to do with my life. Why? Just because I had other aspirations, but most importantly also because I wasn't a very good student. So I didn't want karma dealing with me. So that's the major reason why I was like, I need to be out of the classroom. It never even crossed my mind. That was like when I was in primary. In high school, I thought about it, but it was in the lens of, if nothing works, if nothing works, then I'm gonna be a teacher, But then I was like, from the point of not being a teacher, but owning a school, So I was like, if nothing works. So you can clearly see from those lines, teaching was far from my life aspirations growing up. I went to high school. When I was in high school, I was in journalism club. I was so certain that I was going to be a journalist or a lawyer. Talk to anybody who was in the same high school as me and they'll tell you journalism club was fire. I remember representing the school at an event. We won a certain prize for the school, and I was like, if I was doubting, this is it. I'm not meant to be a teacher or anything else. I'm just meant to be, a journalist. And I remember walking around with a maize cob and would ask people questions like basic interviews. Listen, I was so serious and focused about what I wanted to do, but clearly life had its own plan. Fast forward to I finish high school, my results are out, and now I need to actually go into uni. An opportunity presents itself. As the opportunity presents itself, I'm like, okay, maybe I should take it. But it wasn't for the course I wanted. So I remember I fought it with all my little might, as hard as I could. And listen, it's not easy when you're fighting against your parents, So of course, there was no way I was going to win that because my parent knew best. Parents know best, and yeah, I involved the parents' parent, but we failed terribly. I remember it's so vivid. It wasn't funny convincing my dad that I wanted to actually not do education. I was like, okay, I'm going to take it, do education, but as soon as I'm done, I'm going to choose a master's of my choice, and my dad has to pay from whatever university I choose. And I was like, yeah, no problem, bro. I went to uni, did my education, I worked so hard, I passed. I had second class honors upper division. It was time for me to actually call the shots. I want to do a master's in this, and this is the university of choice. But after how rigorous the education degree was, I was not sure I wanted to go back to uni immediately, whatever uni it was. My dad was like, are you going back to? I said, I'm sorry, I need to work and eat my money, enjoy my money first before I go back. I was like, okay. I started looking for jobs. Even though I had graduated with an education degree, the one thing I was still certain about was I did not want to be in the classroom. This is so funny, yet not so funny. So I started looking for jobs with UNICEF, any other NGOs but schools. And if I was looking for for jobs in schools, I looked for jobs in international schools. The journey was not easy. I applied and applied and applied and applied thousands of schools. The one thing most of the schools asked for was experience, which I did not have because I was a fresh graduate. So there was no way I was going to have experience in anything, especially not in an international school, because even my internship, or rather teaching practice, was not in an international school. There was no way it was going to be in an international school. I didn't have any international school experience. I was already out. But I continued to simply apply. I was hopeful. I decided, because I was already volunteering, request for a volunteer job in an international school. And I was hit with something like, you cannot volunteer. If you need to get into it, like an entry point, then your entry point would be getting in as a teaching assistant. I didn't know much about what being a teaching assistant was then, but I was like, okay, I could take it. I just need to be inside. That's what matters, because every other way had proven difficult anyways. So I took it. I was like, I'm going to take it and let's see how it pans out. So I took up the teaching assistant job and started learning. It's basically working with a main teacher in a classroom just to support them and everything, but you don't get an opportunity to teach. Okay, or rather that time I wasn't getting the opportunity to teach, but then I did it, but it started becoming difficult because I had what it takes to be a teacher. I am trained to be a teacher, and this time we're talking with a bachelor's degree in education. I could be a high school teacher somewhere, but no, I actually wanted to get into the international arena. I could do everything the main teacher was already doing, but I couldn't. I couldn't because of my job description as a teaching assistant. So it was professionally frustrating at some point, but I reminded myself a couple of times that all I had needed was an entry point, and an entry point meant I was already in there. So now that I was already in there, it was not for me to, cross my hands and sit down and be like, no. It was for me to be on the lookout for opportunities. I remember in my interview as a teaching assistant, I asked, how do you support growth in career? And do you have examples of teaching assistants who become teachers within your campus and other campuses? And the answers were quite positive. Then I was given a list of different people I didn't know even that time who had transitioned to other schools, like other campuses in the same company, and others even in other schools that were international schools. So that gave me real hope. That was hope for me. I literally hung on that word and I was like, I need to open my eyes and I need to be keen to apply. When I got this job, it was in February, and international schools hire for September. So in March, April, May, they're already hiring, they're already, recruiting for the next academic year. And I remember vividly putting in my application, and I think I had only been just a month, because I got in February 15th and it was already March and I was already applying. Those first applications I applied that month, I didn't get it. So I didn't get to become a class teacher, as it's called, that September. This is 2016 we're talking about. I had just graduated in 2014. 2015 I had been doing, community service, quote unquote, just volunteering at some adult special needs school. I continued with my teacher assistant, but meanwhile I was still looking. I was really applying with other schools, checking what people are looking for and all that. January, I think one teacher moved, or there was a shake-up, and there was I applied, I didn't get it. I started feeling a certain way. They're getting replacements, but they're getting replacements from outside, and I'm starting to feel like, oof, okay, when is mine going to come? Anyways, I put my head down, I'm applying for jobs, I'm doing my job well, I'm doing my best, because I'm I do not want anybody to have an excuse not to hire me whatsoever. So I continue with the journey, I'm doing my best, but I'm still really applying. I was applying for jobs, you name it, Russia, anywhere. Basically, my goal was apply. April, I'm looking at the perks of being a teaching assistant and a classroom teacher. It's April, that's the time when people are applying, opportunities are flying by. People are making moves in readiness for September, which is the beginning of the academic year. And I'm like, oh, I need to apply. So I start applying again. I apply. This time I apply, I don't get in. Then I apply again. This time I apply to all the campuses and I send my CV to, there's no way I did send it, all those heads. Because I was already in the company, it gave me the advantage of having access to the head teacher email. I sent to all the campuses, including the campuses out of the country. I was not joking about this, and I get regrets. I get regrets from everywhere, and I'm just crushed. I'm like, is this ever going to happen? Really? I didn't give up. I read the regrets. I was happy, and I'll tell you why I was happy when I received the regrets. I was simply happy because it meant somebody took time to have a look at my papers. I'm dealing with my regrets. The shake-up comes, people are moving and everything. I apply, get an invite for an interview. But this is now in the campus where I was working as a teaching assistant. And I'm like, listen, I have longed for this opportunity for so long. There is no way I'm going to sleep on the job. I'm like, I have to get it, and I have to get it. I sit down, I prep myself for the interview, I do dry runs, I talk to myself in the mirror. There is absolutely nothing I didn't do. But one thing I know, while I was doing all this, I was praying and I was not sleeping, preparing for my interview. So it was a little bit easy, even though not very, just a little bit easy, because then I was like, I'll be calmer because I know who I'm talking to and all that. I went in, I was nervous. I remember being offered water. But I remember calming myself down and literally changed the feeling of an interview into just a nice professional chat. I interviewed really well. I remember answering those questions, and like the person who was going to be my line manager looking at me like, wait a sec, is that even you? And yeah, I nailed it, and that's how I actually got my job. I remember being given the offer letter, contract, and the pack, and being taken through the packs of everything. And honestly, it was a big jump from what I was getting as a teaching assistant to what I was going to get. This was a good lesson for me to learn, and it taught me not to settle until I get what I want. Why am I telling you this story? I'm laying a foundation because over a couple of weeks, I will be taking you through the things I have learned, things I have loved, and how do you get into this space, whether you're a teacher or you're not, but you want to get into the international teaching arena. I'm telling you this story so that you can have a background of how these things work. Morals from this story. 1, always listen to your parents. If I hadn't listened to my dad, I don't think I would be sitting here today telling you about this. I sat down and I was like, there's definitely something my dad knows that I don't. I didn't appreciate it that time. 2, do not get comfortable. It doesn't matter how good it looks, how shiny, golden it looks. Don't be comfortable. And when I say don't be comfortable, I'm speaking to the people who have the mindset of job security. Making moves is very necessary professionally. It gives you experiences that you wouldn't get if you are in the same space. It gives you a chance to network and even learn different ways to do things. Job security is the key to people's stagnation, is the key to people not making steps and growing in their career because they think then they need to be there. You've probably been in your job for 10 years and you think you're doing very well. You're missing out. You're limiting yourself. You are the one standing in your own way. Wake up, apply. What's the worst that could happen? Somebody saying no. No never killed anyone. Go for it. Do not sit there and tell yourself, oh, I have job security. You are stagnating yourself. You're stopping yourself from growing. You're stopping yourself from moving forward. And the moment you learn that people are moving forward and they're doing big things in their career, you look back and regret. Regret is such a wasted emotion because you can't do anything about it. Once time passes, that's it. Put yourself out there. Of course, people will say no. Some will say yes, but not everybody is simply going to say no to you throughout. There will be one person who will believe in you to say yes to you, and that door will open other doors. Always have your eyes open. Do not get comfortable professionally. It doesn't matter how much you're earning. It doesn't matter what you do. Always be open-minded to change. I just wanted to share with you this as a basis as I celebrate my 10 years careerversary as a teacher. Let me know in the comment section what you're looking forward to us talking about, chatting about, so that I can actually create some content for you. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I have been your host with the most, Alumira.